Okay, today we have a new lesson. Module 4, lesson 6, right? Yeah. Module 4, lesson 6. Piecewise functions. Piecewise and the step functions, but today we'll take the piecewise function, okay? Page 259. And today we are in 8 December. Now, piecewise function is a function with more than one formula, right? We get used to say that, for example, the linear function, we said f of x equal 2x plus 7, right? This is a function with one rule, which is 2x plus 7, right? Means if you want to substitute any x, you only use 2x plus 7, صح؟ يعني if you want to find f of 3, you only have this rule, right? 2 multiply 3 plus 7, check. 2 multiply 3 plus 7, which is 13. If you want to substitute f of negative 4, you only have this rule. 2 multiply negative 4 plus 7, negative 8 plus 7, negative 1. So here we call it one rule function. One rule function. Piecewise function is a function with more than one rule. Is a function with more than one rule. Like, for example, f of x equal 3x plus 2 or 5x plus 1. This rule for x less than 1 and this rule for x more than or equal 1. This we call it piecewise function. The function name is what? F of x. F of x. And here we have two rules. 3x plus 2 and 5x plus 1. A little bit ago, we said it has one rule only. Here we have two rules, but each rule defined on specific numbers. Means here 3x plus 2 if x malha less than 1. Less than 1 means any x less than 1. This is the rule for. Any x more than or equal 1. This is the rule for. For example, if I want to substitute f of or find the value of f over 3. Now this is the 3. 3 value for what? For x. So you will go here and ask yourself, is it 3 less than 1 or more than 1? So you will substitute down, not up, right? So you will say 5 by 3 plus 1, which is 16. But if you want to find f of 0, you will ask yourself, this 0, value of x, right? 0 less than 1 or more than 1? So substitute up, not down. It will be 3 by 0 plus 2, which is 2. If you want f of 1, value for 1, right? 1 less than 1? No. 1 more than or equal 1? Yes, it has equal. So down. Done? So f of 1, you need to substitute it down, which is 6. Stop. Assume that you don't have this equal. And you want to find f of 1. Is 1 less than 1? Is 1 more than 1? No. At this case, we say f of 1 is undefined. At this case. But here we have what? We have equal down, so I substitute it down. Done? This is how we deal with, how we substitute numbers in piecewise function. So the piecewise function is a function with more than one rule. Each rule defined on a specific part of real numbers. Okay? Done? Done. The first rule, 3x plus 2, what we call? We call it linear function, right? We know how to graph linear function. We talk a lot of examples how to graph linear functions, right? So mostly or on your level, the rules will be what? Linear. Linear function. يعني باور قد ايه؟ x باور 1. Okay? Any question? Any question? Let's graph piecewise function. Now, but let's read few things on the first page. Okay? Yeah, we are on page 259. Page 259. Let's read together. Learn graphing piecewise functions. Some functions cannot be described by a single expression. I called it single formula a little bit ago, right? Some functions cannot be described by a single expression because they are defined differently depending on the interval of x. Yani in this example in front of you here, it has two parts because we have two definitions for x, or two parts of the real numbers. But if you have one formula, you need to substitute n only. So these functions are called piecewise defined functions. A piecewise linear function has a graph that composed of some number of linear pieces. Like this function in front of you, both rules are what? Linear. So we call it piecewise linear function. Okay? Done? Done. Now, how we graph the linear function? We will graph the first part, the second part, but on the same coordinate plane, in the same coordinate plane. Okay? But I want to remind you with something. Remember when we graph y2x plus 4, for example, we use intercepts, remember? We use intercepts. We find y-intercept, we find x-intercept, then we graph, check. But here, no restrictions on x. شو يعني no restrictions on x؟ يعني ما في شروط على x، صح؟ So this function defined on all the real numbers. So when you come to graph, you say x-intercept with y equals 0, check. So this will be -4 divided by 2, so y will be -2. And y-intercept is 4, check. And when you come to graph, this is what? The x-axis, and this is the y-axis. Now, this is the x-axis. The function is defined in all what? In all real numbers, in all x. So when you come to graph, x is what? X is -2. This is x, right? So x is -2 and y is what? 4. This is the function. And you put arrows here and it covers all what? All x, check. Covers all x because you have only one formula and it's defined in all real numbers. But in the piecewise function, we will have two lines, two different lines. And if you take a look at this example, we will graph this function, but not on all x, on only the part of x that is less than 1. We will graph this function, not all of x, only the part of x that is the more than or equal 1. So we will have two pieces. Two what? That's why we call it piecewise function. Done? Let's take example 1 and the graph. I'm in example 1 now, page 259. Graph the function, a graph f of x equal two pieces 2x plus 4 if كاتب لك جنبها if x less than or equal 1 and negative x plus 3 if x more than 1. Okay, and the two parts are linear. I will take each part alone, find the intercepts to graph them both where on the same coordinate plane مش two coordinate نفس الcoordinate plane بس عليه two graphs. Okay, so I will take the first part, I will call it y, and I will prepare its intercepts. Same idea for the second part. Okay, so the first part y equal 2x plus what? Find the intercepts, prepare them. Why I'm preparing them? To graph. Check. Yeah. X intercept, put y equal 0. So x will be what here? Negative 2. Y intercept, y equal what? 4. Y equal 4. After you put x 0, right? So x intercept negative 2 and y intercept what? 4. Now the same for the second one. I'll use the blue for it. Y equal negative x plus 3. If x equals 0, y will be 3. If y equals 0, x will be 3. لأنه 3 here, it will be negative 3, and this negative divide negative both sides, it will be also what? 3, right? Good. So I prepared the x-intercept and the y-intercept for both parts. Now I'm ready for what? For a graph. But the most important value here is the 1, because the function will be different before 1 and after 1, right? Here it has a line, and here it has a different line. صح? Yeah, so let's graph. First thing, you need to take care of this number. What's this number? 1. x1. Okay? So I will go to the x-axis, and you put where? The 1. And I will draw imaginary line. What? Imaginary line. It's not line included in the graph, but I will draw it imaginary line by the red color. See the 1? خلاص? Now, x less than 1, I'm talking about this part. Okay? X more than 1, I'm talking about the part to the right. Check. So, I will go to the first one, 2x plus 4. هيا 2x plus 4. What's the intercept for it? Negative 2 for x, y 4. Hi, negative 2 for x. And y what? 4. I will graph, but I want beyond 1 to the right. يعني مش هعدل 1. مظبوط? This graph to the left for this one, to the right for this one. So I will make my line. I will make my what? My line. Just let me make it longer. With the black, okay? شو عملت? I made a line, but I stopped where? At the line x equal 1. I didn't go like we did here. Where is it? Here. For all, right? For all x. But here, I stopped where? At x1. At 1, I stopped. Why I stopped here? Because I want x less than 1. Each x here is what? Is less than 1. So I graph until my line, my imaginary line. Okay? طب I will graph the second one with the blue. Done? x3 and y3. Prepare them. This is 1. Check. هذه 2 هذه ايش حتكون for example 3 and y is what 3. This is the 3 before the 4, right? I will make my line but after the 1. يعني the line should be something like this. صح? But I won't take this part, I will take this part. Because I want it more than 1. Got it? No, not mentally. Imagine that you have the blue line in all. This is the normal graph, right? Cut the 3 and the 3 in both x and y. But I won't take the part which is less than 1. I will take the part which is greater than 1. Done? Now still one step to finish the graph. You will take a look where the function is defined on 1. Here you have equal, here you don't have equal, right? At the equal you put a closed circle. يعني هاي ال1 صح? You will go up. You have this blue, the blue for the second one, right? Do we have equal? No, you put open circle. What's the meaning of open circle? That this graph here is not defined on 1. But you will go up until the black. And the black you have equal sign here, right? Here what you put? Closed circle. That's mean the function, this function, the black line is defined on 1. Okay? Now take a look to your book. It's a graph in your book. It will be more clear here. It will be more clear here, okay? طبعا the first image of, you have two graphs. The first graph, they graph all the line. They graph all the line. The second graph, similar to my graph there, okay? Done? Let's take another example. You will understand it more, inshallah. طبعا they graph the two function here using a table in your book. But I used what? Intercept, so it's up to you. Let's take the check. Now, try to graph it using pencil. Graph needs what? Pencil, not pen. ما في pen بالgraph, pencil. Now, in your graph or in your book, here you have space, right? Here prepare the intercepts, and here you will graph. So let's do it together. Check. I'm on page 260. Part A, graph f of x. F of x equal 2 pieces minus x plus 1 if x more less than or equal negative 2 and negative 3x negative 2 if x more than negative 2. خلاص؟ انتبه على البورد عشان تفهم. I'll give you time to write, don't worry. Yeah. I want to find the intercept space for each part. I have two parts here. So I'll take the first part. I will say y equal minus x plus 1 and prepare the intercepts. X intercept y0, y intercept x0. So x intercept, we put y equals 0. If you put y equals 0, you will shift the plus 1 here. It will be negative 1. Negative 1 equal negative x, so x equal 1, right? Y intercept, if x equals 0, also y will be 1. هذا الفيرست part. The second part, same idea. Y equal negative 3x, negative 2. The x intercept, put y equals 0, shift the negative 2 here, it will be positive 2. Divide by negative 3 both sides, so x will be what? Negative 2 over 3. Whatever, لا خليها fraction. Or 0.6 negative. Now, if y-intercept 0, but x equals 0, y will be what? -2. صح? I prepared the intercepts. Why? To graph them. To graph them. Now we will go together to the coordinate plane. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله. ثواني. Now let's graph together. I will start with the first one. X-intercept is 1, y-intercept is 1. But the first thing, we will draw our imaginary line because we have a part before and a part after. Imaginary line, it's on x equal what? -2. So you will search about -2. This is 1, 2. -2. And you will make what? Imaginary line like this one. It's not included in the graph, just to be not confused, that's all. Now let's start with the first one. The first one about less than -2, right? Yani to the left, not to the right, okay? So here x equal 1, y equal what? 1 for the first one, sure? X equal 1, here x equal 1. This is x equal 1 and this is y equal what? 1. Now ركز على البورد. ركز على البورد. Now the line should be something like this, right? But I don't want the part to the right. I want the part where? To the left. Why? Because here x less than -2, not more than -2. So I need to erase. Yani if you draw with pencil, you can erase it. Yani you can graph it all, then erase the part which you don't want it. This part I don't want it, right? Got it? So assume that I will erase this. It will be something like this. صح؟ هذا البارت انا مسحته. مظبوط؟ طيب. Is it has equal at the -2? Yes. So up over -2 here, what you put? Close circle. This means that this part is defined on -2. Done? In the first part. Now second part. Second part, -3x, -2. Let's determine or plot the intercepts. -2 over 3, x -2 over 3, يعني -0.6 rounded. -0.6 rounded. So it is close to -1 from the right. It's between 0 and -1, but close to -1 a little bit. So if this -1 here, هي اللي حتكون، عرفت؟ جنبها estimated، مش مشكلة. So I will use the blue one. Before the -1. Done? Before the -1. To the right, not to the left. But this is -1. Sorry, this is -2 over 3. But what I want also, y equal negative 2. Where is the y equal negative 2? Is this negative 1, this negative 2, right? مظبوط؟ طيب ركز معي. The line should be something like this. صح؟ But I don't want it all. I want the part which is more than negative 2. يعني to the right, not to the left. So I will erase this part of the blue. I don't need it. This part, صح? So assume this is negative 2, okay? Right. Do we have equal sign here? No. So what we got? Open set. What? Hi, Khalid. Mr. Khalid. لا negative 2. Okay guys. طبعا in your book or in your square sheet should be more accurate than mine. Why? Because here the spaces or the distances between the numbers are exact equal. But here I estimate the spaces. Okay? But whatever. Okay? That's why in your book should be, if you follow the steps, the same steps, but should be more accurate than me in the board. Okay? Yeah, this one. Okay. I think this one is correct. This one is the most correct. Done? Start. Now, what is the domain and the range? Huh. If x intercept, you put y equals 0 and find x. Here, this is the function, right? You want to find x intercept, put y equals 0. It will be 0 equal negative 3x minus 2. You want x, what you will do? You will shift the negative 2 here, it will be positive 2. And divide both sides by what? It will be negative 2 over 3. Which equation? ما فيش equation هذه function. لا. You understand how we graph piecewise function? But now the domain and the range. For example, about this one here. The domain, all the numbers that you can substitute, right? But is there any problem here? All the values which less than or equal negative 2, it is defined here, right? And all the values more than negative 2, it's defined here. So this function covers all R, all the real number, right? So here we'll say the domain. This, what this mean? All real numbers. So how about the range? The range who will what? طب طلعهم. This part covers all these values, right? And this part covers all the list of the values. So the values of all y are also covered. So the range here is what also? كمان all real number. Domain and range You will take it more, inshallah, when you take something we call quadratic functions. Okay? Type. What? No, not always. Not always, for sure. Done? Done. Stop. I will stop here, and I want you to do for me to practice on this idea. Question 1 in your homework. Do it now. Yeah. The practice page 263. Tomorrow we'll take the other function, which is the step function. See question 1 in your practice? Do it. Now here, the domain X is all covered, right? So the domain always are here. Okay? The range, look at the range. Look at the range. Now this forever here, the y-axis, but the function is stopped here. صح? Do we have other values more than this point in the function? No. How I know this point here on the y? This point is the definition of 1, right? L1. What's the value of 1? We substitute here. 2 multiply 1, 2 plus 4, 6. So this value here should be what? 6. So the maximum value or the highest point the function get it is what? The 6, right? So the range here we say y less than or equal what? 6. Okay? هذا الexample. But in the check, طلع الcheck. Do we have value forever up or down? No. All of it down forever, up forever. So the domain and range are both what? Up. Okay? Do this question now as practice. Now, first step, we find the intercept, right? So here y equal half x minus 1. The x-intercept, put y equals 0, negative 1, it will be 1. 1 divided by half, it will be 2, right? Check. And y-intercept, but x equals 0, y will be negative 1, right? Again, x-intercept, we put y equals 0, right? Put y 0, it will be 0 equal half x minus 1. Shift the minus 1, it will be 1 equal half x. Divide both by half. 1 divided by half. And how many halves in the 1? 2 halves, right? So x equal 2. This is the first part. Now the second part, y equal negative 2x plus 3. X-intercept, put y equals 0. You will shift the 3 here. It will be what? Negative 3. Divided by negative 2, yani 3 over 2. Yani x equal 1 and a half. Right? 1 and a half. Y-intercept, but x equals 0, y will be 3. These are the intercepts for both. I want you now to graph, but use pencil, please. Yeah. The first one, which is more than 3, x is 2, y is what? Negative 1. X is 2, hi, X is 2. This is 1, this is 2, right? Y is negative 1. This is negative 1. Check. Your line, ركز, will be like from here to here. لا, طلعها لفوق شوي بس. I will graph. I'm graphing. Now this part here and here and here, I don't want it, right? Why? Because this defined with more than 3. So I will try to erase it. But it's before, so I need to make it at the line exactly. Is it defined? Do we have equal sign here? No. So we write what? Sorry. Open circle. Okay. Now in with your pencil, you can graph it all, then erase the part which is this than 3, because this is defined more than 3 to the right of the 3. Right? Right. Now the second part, I will graph it with the blue. X is 1.5. 1.5 هاي 1.5 صح? It's between 1 and 2. Y is 3. This is 1, 2, high 3. Now this is the line should be. صح? طب, I don't want this one. Why? I already have it. I want the one which is before the 3. So I will erase it. But do we have equal sign? طبعا I have both here. Sorry. I have here arrow, don't forget that. Here I have equal sign. So at the end, under the 3, what I will write here? Close circle and make it clear. I will. Now ركز عشان نعرف الدومين والريت. طبعا should pass from the 3. This is the 3. I'm assuming in your book should be more accurate. Okay. طب. Now the domain always are because it's defined before the 3 and the 3 and after. صح؟ يعني this is the number line. صح؟ وهي the 3. Before the 3 defined. From the 3 and after also defined. So it's defined all the real numbers. So what's the domain here? All real numbers. You can write big R like this, or you can write it in words. All real numbers. But how about the range? ركز. Do we have minimum value or maximum value for this graph in front of you? But look at this line here. Do we have any value for the lines less than this line, which I graph? No. So this value here is the least value for the function, right? صح؟ في خط نازل تحتيها؟ لا. فأقل value لهذا الفانكشن at this point. How we find it? How we find it? ركز. How we find it? In your book or in your sheet here, you can find it by looking. But if you don't, what you will do? You will take the 3. Is it for the blue or the black? The blue. The blue, the first one or the second one? The second one. So replace the 3 in X here. Negative 2 multiply 3, negative 6, plus 3, negative 3. So here is what? So the range is Y more than or equal what? يعني كل ال values for the line كل ال values is more than mean negative 3. That's all for today. Your homework for today is 2, 4 and 6. 2, 4 and 6.